Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we are going to be fitting the frame around our kitchen and installing our diesel hob, our Wallas XC Duo. So Leah's brother is here to give us a hand today, so let's get cracking. Here we have it, our Wallas XC Duo. You can see there, we've just done some little light fittings. We're just keeping it propped up at the base for now. But it's sitting in where it's going to be. And then when we open up, you see you've got your stove top there. So really happy with how that's turned out. Everything obviously needs to be fitted properly and securely, but yeah, really good progress so far so far this morning. It's good having Tim here, helped us cut all that out, and then we just all fitted it together, so thumbs up. The stove is now kind of dry fitted, and it's not permanently fixed yet, but while it's in at this point, what I'm going to do is start to line up all of our exhaust tubes, our air intake tube, all of that sort of stuff. So we'll take this out, we'll see what we have to work with and how we're going to bring it through and out the floor and to the exhaust head. So I'll show you guys the process of doing that now. So when you get the Wallas XC Duo in the pack, it comes with everything that you need. So let's take this all out. so this is the exhaust head. Haven't unpacked it yet, but it comes with all of the fixings, all of the fittings. Then this tube with the heat insulation on it is for your exhaust tube. So on the internal aspect of the vehicle. So it will come from the, let's see, there we go. So it will come from here. Take this little stop out. So it'll come down from this hot tube. So we'll get that well up there. Then you have your heat insulation, your insulation that runs along it. And then you would fasten all of this with a Jubilee clip. So that would sit there. Then what we will do is we will have our tube running down through here and then through the floor in the second row footwell. Alongside that then you have your air intake. So with this being a diesel hub, it's a smaller version of, you know, the type of diesel engine that you would have in a car. So you've got your air intake and then your exhaust outtake as well. So they'll sit through there, and the same setup with the air intake tube. It sits to the front. To fit to the front. I'll play about with that. So it fits to the front, and again it runs out parallel along with this, and then once it gets outside, you then have, so you can see these are your fixings for the exhaust head. So once it then gets outside, you've got the exhaust head. So the exhaust hot side, this hole goes to the rear facing. So we'll plant that under the vehicle in line with the edge of the body, and the hot air comes out there. So you've got your hot and your cold coming there. What you're able to do on install is actually take the so this comes out, and it sits like this on the underside. You can see the little mounting brackets and the clips there, so everything goes into that, and then it fixes to, I don't have them up with me, but they fix to the brackets that connect to the underside of the vehicle. And then when you're all done, it's just a simple case of sliding this cover back on. You'll hear come on Chris, you can do it. Yep, so you'll hear a click, and then that's it back installed. So yeah, it gives it a nice little finish underneath, and it protects the metal casing for that. So I'm going to start thinking through how I'm going to put the tubing down through all of our panel work, because it's going to come out the second row floor, as I said. So I'll get thinking about that, and I'll let you guys watch along. So we have the air intake and the exhaust flume all in. So I drilled 2 holes in my ply paneling, which allowed me to come in underneath just at the end of the wheel arch. So I've got the 2 coming through, and then we drilled another 2 holes here, and I've just marked out where my floor plate is going to go, so we can do that and get all of that sorted. One tip that doesn't come with the instructions is that you should wear long sleeves. I learned the hard way. I don't know, you might be able to see it. Maybe they'll glisten in the sun. The heat protection for the exhaust tube is a fiberglass sleeve, and my arms are so itchy now. So I would definitely recommend, when you're going to do this yourself, wear long sleeves. You will need a, they say 43mm hole drill, hole saw, but the closest I could get was a 42. So the 42 is working. I'll show you guys here, but just a bit of patience, takes time getting through the layers. So the way that we have everything set up in the Defender, we have the floor, you can see the shiny bit of the metal. Then we have our silicone, which fixes on to the floor to the insulation. You can see we've got our 12mm pink insulation there, and then we have our ply on top as well. So those are the layers of our camper van. So I've one hole done, I filed it through, and I'm going to drill the other before putting on our mounting plate. So there's a mounting plate for the top and the bottom. These get fixed in place and then we'll be able to put the hosing through, fix it to the brackets at the bottom that hold the exhaust head, and from that we'll pretty much have the full system set. What we'll do at that point then is we'll loosen the air intake and the exhaust output from the actual hob itself, and we'll take that out because we still need to sand and varnish our countertop before we get everything in for a final fit. We'll maybe even start kind of looking at the electrics, getting those sorts of things hooked up today as well. But I'm going to keep going here. I'll show you just kind of what we've done and then I'll keep going. We've just finished the next phase of the installation. So after feeding everything through, we then fed our 2 tubes through the plates that we had fixed to the floor. So you can see the floor plate there. So there's one on top and there's also one on the bottom. And now what we'll be thinking about doing is, with our exhaust head, mounting that on the underside of the Defender and then putting in our exhaust output tube and our air intake tube as well. So we'll get fitting on that, and then hopefully that should be it, pretty much set up, ready to go, ready for the electrics to be connected to it. We have our exhaust head mounted. The exhaust head has to come running kind of flush with the side of the vehicle. So I'm maybe kind of 15mm just in a little bit, just to kind of keep it out of the way when you're when you've got the door open, those sorts of things. So it has to be a minimum of 300mm from your rear tire, so which we've done. It also has to be a minimum of 300mm away from an opening window. So we don't plan to have this window open when we are cooking, but it is 300mm away from our gull wing window. So it's all good in that front. We've mounted it the wrong way around. Back to the drawing board. So this is it, but what I've done incorrectly is, so you can see it mounted up there like that. This exhaust hole where it says hot should be facing this way. So, and this is actually meant to be turned down. So I realize what I've done now. I've put my brackets on at the wrong end. So I'll just unscrew here and here, and then we'll just turn this around, and that will be us set up. So let's go again. Sorted. I unscrewed the bolts from the supports at the back and we turned it round, so now we have the hot air exhaust vent coming back this way. So this is where the hot air comes out, in the same way that, you know, the exhaust on the Defender points towards the back. So that's on there. It's going to clear when the sill panel comes on, so it'll sit just flush with the bottom of the sill panel when we put it back on. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Now what I need to do is I need to take the tubes and we need to figure out where we need to cut them so that we have the right length into the back of this unit. So really straightforward setup. I would recommend it. I would say double check, triple check everything, because we've made a few silly mistakes along the way that could have probably been prevented. But we're getting there now, and yeah, just looking forward to sharing this with you guys. Let me know in the comments section what you think of the build series so far, what you think of this particularly, this in particular, the Wallas XC Duo, the install of that, and you know, if you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead and click that like button and click the subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll be kept up to date with all of our builds. 70% of the people who watch our videos don't actually subscribe to the channel. So if that's you and you don't subscribe, it would be great if you could. It really helps our channel out. If we grow the channel, it means that we'll be able to do more exciting things with Rona in the future, and maybe a few more exciting things along the build process as well. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share the video with your friends if you think it's something they might like as well. So I'm going to keep going, and yeah, we'll show you guys how we're getting on. Now it's time to cut these to length. So you just remove this by pulling these two little bits apart, and then you can see that you've got the intake and the outtake for the two tubes. So the hot air goes in on this side. As far as I'm aware, let me double check my manual. Yeah, so the air intake goes in here, so closest to here, and the combustion exhaust gas goes through the shorter, you can see there, the shorter bit. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it has hose fitting. To the shorter hose fitting is for the exhaust. Yeah, you know what I mean. So taped off, masked off, so I know where to cut, and once I do my cut, then we'll be able to fit them with the Jubilee clips, and that should be everything set, ready for, well, we need to connect like the fuel line and all of those sorts of things, but in terms of the exhaust and the air intake, that should be, fingers crossed, everything sorted. Alrighty, so it is our sink install time. So we got this Dometic Smev. I'm trying to see if it's got any like extra details, but it's got some model numbers, that sort of thing. It is this model, in case you're interested. So it is 280 by 280 by 380, and it'll sit in like so. It's still got its blue kind of plastic protective coating on. So I'm in the process of marking out the countertop, and then we will think about installing this. It comes with all of the waste fittings, so we'll be able to install the waste fittings with that. It is 20mm out, so we'll need to get some 20mm corrugated waste pipe that'll go into our wastewater tank underneath. And then it also comes with the seal for kind of around the lip that'll sit on the countertop as well. So I'm gonna measure out, double check with Leah that that's where it's meant to go, and then yeah, I'll start cutting it out. I think I've got everything set so that it sits neatly within the frame underneath, but I'll double check all of that, and then I'll get going. And once we have that dry fitted and we know it's all good, we will take everything out. We'll take the sink out, we'll take the hob out, and we will sand down and varnish the countertop. We'll put it in and then final fit, and hopefully we'll not need to move it again. So yeah, let me show you what I've done in terms of my template here. So you can see I've marked out as carefully as I can and as squarely as I can. I've got 60mm from the front edge, so you can see that it's 60 there, it's 60 there, it's 60 there, and then I've done the same at the back. So we've got a 60mm gap, so it's what's that word, equidistant. It's equal to the front and the back in its positioning. I've got a 115mm gap here, so that you've just got a little bit of space between the hob and the sink, and then slightly wider here. There's about 150mm of a space left there, and the tap will go here and feed into the sink there. So I'm gonna get going. I'll show you guys once I've cut it out what it looks like. So I have cut the hole for the sink, so it sits down in like this, but at the edges it was sitting up still a little bit proud, and I realized that this lip along here is actually causing it to come up and not sit flush on the countertop. So I tried to get creative and using just a flathead drill bit, just going around and making out a groove on each side around the curve so that it'll sit flush, and then it'll be a case of us just clamping it on the underside, putting some clear silicone sealant around the edge, letting that set, and it'll be good to go. So once I get this done, we'll sand it, varnish it, get it finally fitted in, final fit, and then we'll be able to put the stove back in and the sink in as well. Moment of truth. So I think that's a good job. I think what we'll need to do is just fasten it down. We see here, we'll fasten it down, and then we'll know kind of what sort of space we have and what we need to do. Just doing this didn't come with great fitment instructions, so I'm going to just do it little by little, piece by piece, and we'll get it all slotted together as best as possible. The shelf is fitted. It needs to be secured along the back, and I think we will need to put in a bit of a brace to give it a bit more structural support along here, but we're going to figure that out now, and we'll get fitting. Going to have to wrap up this section, this part of the video there. I appreciate there was kind of jumpy footage between things that we had done towards the end. We just didn't get filming everything that we would have liked to have gotten filmed. But up next in part 3, we're going to put together a video for our electrical system. So keep your eyes out for that in the upcoming weeks as well. Would love to know your thoughts and opinions on the build series so far. So do leave a comment down below. If you're enjoying watching the videos, if you want to keep up to date, hit that subscribe button as well. And we will see you in the next episode.